Hello my dear friends, I am Professor Wayam Khan and this is the part 6 of unit number 3 control action, controllers and electrical systems. And in previous video, that is part 6, we have started the electrical systems of this unit number 3 of subject automatic control system. And in previous video we have studied about AC servo motor and the functioning, the working, the construction and the application of AC servo motor. In today's part we will be studying the DC servo motor and what are the various types of DC servo motors that are used in your applications, in your industrial applications. So without wasting time, I'll begin with the class. So this is the general figure that we used in previous video also. So this shows the working of a servo motor. So this is your servo motor. Whenever I am saying servo motor, it means it is having a motor either AC or DC connected with a servo mechanism like encoder or potentiometer, which is used as a position sensor, or you can also call them as feedback sensors, because they generate a feedback signal and give to the error detector, where that error detector compares that feedback signal with the target position of the shaft. For example, if the target position of the shaft is 45 degrees and your actual position of your shaft is 40 degrees, so there is an error of 5 degrees. So that error shall be rectified, and that can be rectified by using moving the motor and gears. Okay, so that error signal is generated from the error detector, which is given to the controller, where the controller controls the motor. The rotation of the shaft is done with the help of motor, and that motor controls the rotation of the gears. Hence you achieve your target position. So this is how a servo motor works. So you can use either encoder or potentiometer for detecting the position of the motor shaft. Okay, so let us discuss DC servo motors. As we all know that any electrical motor can be utilized as a servo motor, okay, if it is controlled by a servo mechanism like this encoder, potentiometer, gears. Okay, so if you are controlling that motor with the help of a servo mechanism, so that specific motor will be called as servo motor. And if the motor that is used in this servo mechanism or in this servo motor is a type of DC motor, then that specific mechanism will be called as DC servo motor. Okay, so if we control a DC motor by means of servo mechanism, it would be referred as a DC servo motor. Okay, so there are different types of DC motors like shunt wound DC motor, then your series DC motor, then there is a separate type of separately excited DC motor, permanent magnet DC motor, brushless DC motor. Out of these types of DC motor, mainly the separately excited type, permanent magnet type and brushless DC motor types are used as servo motors in a servo mechanism. Okay, so we will be studying these 2 or 3 types of these DC servo motors. Remember, whenever a DC motor is used in a servo mechanism, that is referred as a DC servo motor. Okay, so it is not a different category. Okay, so based on the classification, we have 3 different types of DC servo motors like separately excited, permanent magnet type and brushless type. Okay, so let us begin with the separately excited DC servo motor. This motor has a different, or you can say has a separate DC source for field winding. So there is field winding, then there is armature winding. So for field winding we have a separate power source, okay, that is a DC type, direct current type, and the controls can be achieved either by controlling field current or armature current. So there are 2 different windings like field winding and armature winding. So there will be two currents flowing in it. So if the current is flowing in the field winding, it will be called as field current, and if it is flowing in armature winding, that is second winding, so it will be called as armature current. So you can control the motor by using armature current or field current. You can control it by any of the two, okay, by controlling any of the two. So if you are controlling it by using field current, then it will be called as field controlled DC motor, and if it is controlled by armature current, then it will be called as armature controlled DC servo motor. Okay, so both of them have some specific advantage over each other. So field control has some advantages, armature control has also some specific advantages. So we'll see them in next part, and let us begin with the field controlled DC servo motor. So separately excited means your field winding and armature winding will be having separate DC source. So we will not be using any kind of AC alternating current here. So the figure here shows a field controlled DC servo motor, and the arrangement is like this. So there is a field inductance, that is your field winding, then there is your armature winding. So armature is connected to a constant current source. So armature is connected to a constant current source, whereas the field winding is connected to an amplifier. Okay, so this amplifier is used to amplify the error signal. So your field winding is connected to the error signal. So error signal will be given to the field winding, and the current will be given to the armature winding. Remember these things, huh? Okay, so arrangement is like this. Again, field winding is having amplifier connected to it, which is amplifying the error signal. So your error signal will be given to the field winding. Okay, so so DC motor is excited by the amplified error signal, and armature in this type of DC motor, in this arrangement the field of DC motor is excited by the amplified error signal, which is given to the field winding, and armature winding is energized or is excited by a constant current source. So this is the arrangement of your DC servo motor field control type. Okay, so what happens and what are the different things about this? Let us see. As the field of DC servo motor is excited by amplified error signal, the torque of motor, that is rotation of the motor, can be controlled by amplified error signal. So since your field winding is responsible for the excitation, and it is responsible because of the amplified error signal, so therefore the rotation or the torque which is produced by the motor can be controlled by controlling the error signal. Okay, now if the constant armature current is large enough, then every little change in the field current causes corresponding changes in the torque of the motor shaft. Okay, so if this is large, so a small change in this in your field current can also cause a corresponding change in the torque of the motor shaft. Okay, so remember that the torque is controlled by your error signal, amplified error signal. From a general torque equation of a DC motor, it is found that torque is directly proportional to phi Ia. So your phi is field flux and Ia is your armature current. Okay, but here you can see that this Ia is nothing but your armature current. So this Ia is kept constant. So armature current, because it is connected to a constant current source, so armature current is constant. So that means T will be directly proportional to the magnetic, or you can say it will be directly proportional to the field flux. So T is directly proportional to phi. Okay, so you can see that this is a very specific thing mentioned here, that is torque is directly proportional to the field flux. Okay, it is not dependent on current now. So as the field flux increases, the torque also increases. So that can be increased by your increase in the amplified error signal. Okay, so it is totally dependent on this side, field winding. Second thing, the direction of rotation can be changed by changing the polarity of the field. So if you change the polarity of the flux field, you can change the direction of rotation of the shaft, and the direction of rotation can also be altered by using split field DC motor, where field winding is divided into two different parts. One half of the winding is wound in clockwise direction and other half is wound in anti-clockwise direction. So the field winding only is you can say is divided into two types, and first part will be in clockwise direction, where the other part will be in anti-clockwise direction. So this is about how you can control the direction of the field controlled DC servo motor. Then there is one important thing that is to be mentioned here, that is your magnetizing saturation curve. So the field in this motor, the field is controlled below the knee point. So this is a knee point for a magnetizing saturation curve, which is plotted against magnetic field intensity, or you can say magnetizing current versus the magnetic flux density. So this curve has a knee point where it bends. So your field is controlled always below the knee point. That's why it is highlighted by yellow color here. At that portion of the curve, MMF linearly varies with excitation current. So the MMF, it varies linearly with the excitation current. That means the torque developed in DC motor is directly proportional to the field current. Okay, up to the, so this is your field current, TF. You can call TF as your field current, or it is directly proportional to the torque. Okay, up to the knee point, up to the knee point. Next one is armature controlled DC servo motor. So it is exactly reverse to your field controlled DC servo motor, in which the field winding is connected to the amplifier. Here the armature controlled DC servo motor, in this field winding is connected to a constant current source, and the armature winding or your armature is connected to a amplifier where the amplified error signal is given. So here in this part, armature is energized by an amplified error signal. In this armature controlled DC servo motor, the armature is energized by an amplified error signal, and field is excited by a constant current source. So field winding is having constant current source here, and armature is having an amplifier connected to it. So the construction is exactly opposite to each other. Now here field is energized. Since field is energized by constant voltage, that is constant current source, so flux here is a constant, that is your phi here is a constant. Okay, now as the armature of DC motor is less inductive and more resistive, the time constant of armature winding is small enough. This causes quick change of armature current due to sudden change in armature voltage. So the response of your armature controlled motor is faster as compared with the field controlled DC servo motor, because the thing here with the armature controlled DC servo motor is that armature of this motor is less inductive and more resistive. Okay, which causes the time constant of armature winding to become a small enough, and hence it can cause quick change of armature current due to sudden change in armature voltage. So small change in your armature current can also cause a quick response. So that is why dynamic response of armature controlled DC servo motor is faster. It is fast as compared with the field controlled DC servo motor. Okay, remember this thing. This is the advantage of armature control over field control. So the direction of rotation of the motor can be easily changed by reversing the polarity of error signal. So you simply reverse the polarity of error signal, that will cause the change in the direction of motion of the shaft. Okay, since the field will also get changed, and again at saturation the field flux is maximum. So as we said earlier, the torque equation of DC motor is T phi Ia, where Ia is your armature current. Now this phi here in this armature control type is constant. Now phi is large enough and hence it is treated as constant. For every little change in the armature current, that is Ia, there will be prominent change in the motor torque. That means the torque is directly proportional or is dependent on the armature current now. Okay, previously this armature current was constant, here flux is constant, hence it is dependent on Ia. That means servo motor becomes much sensitive to the armature current. So this motor is now sensitive to this armature current. Previously it was sensitive to this field current or your flux. Okay, so the field is operated at well beyond the knee point of magnetizing saturation curve. Now here the field is operated beyond the knee point now of the magnetizing saturation curve. In this portion of the curve, for huge change in magnetizing current, there is small change in MMF in the motor field. Okay, and this makes the servo motor less sensitive to the change in the field current. Okay, so it is less sensitive to this change in the field current. Okay, but is more sensitive to this armature current. Actually, for this armature control DC servo motor, we do not want that this motor should respond to any change in the field of change in field current. So it is not required for this motor to respond to any change in the field current, in winding current. Okay, so therefore this motor proves to be some more useful in applications. Let us discuss about permanent magnet DC servo motor. Here field control is not possible in this permanent type of magnet DC servo motor, and the working is quite similar to the armature controlled DC servo motor. It is having similar kind of working, only the winding is replaced by your permanent magnet. Okay, so that is about a DC servo motor. This is the working of DC servo motor, and it is very important to study it. Okay, in next video we'll study more about these motors. We'll study about stepper motor, then we will also study about how to control these two motors, this AC servo motor and DC servo motor, what are the various applications of these motors.